Dave here, G0OES. And there's the dog, Boo Boo, for those of you who've asked in the past for the dog to be in the videos. But anyway, I thought I'd better do something for you, which gives you a little bit of context for this video on what's coming up. When I activated Hofton's Cross, I popped in, as you might remember if you saw the video, to see Martin, who runs the GB7 Alpha Tango AT Alton Towers repeater, which needs using a lot more, he told me, if you recall. But he said to me, I can't believe that Hofton's Cross is even a POTA site. What about Thorswood? So we looked it up on the POTA app, and Thorswood, very nearby, an 84 hectare, which is about 40 odd acres in old money, site run by Staffordshire Wildlife Trust, apparently is amazing and high up, wasn't a POTA site. So we got it registered, and I thought, just like when I get anything registered with the lovely Paul from the UK POTA team, what I'll do is I'll log on before I go up there, and G0HIO has got up there at warp speed and activated it. But no, nothing, not for a few days. So I had a small window, and that window was to get up there and activate it, and then pop over to Stoke-on-Trent, North Staffs Hospital, to see my brother, Tom, who's very poorly in there. So what happened was, before I set out, I noticed the bank conditions were really tough on HF. Height above sea level from the picnic bench there is roughly, as you can see in the video, 1,000 feet. And I thought, right, what I'll do, let's make this really tough. If HF's going to be tough, let's do VHF tough. So it's 2 meters, 10 watts, and using an old Loft-Fine Yagi. Hope you enjoy the video. Well, I'm here at Thorswood Nature Reserve. Just show you some of the site around here. Cattle grazing, keep dogs on lead. Apparently this is amazing in spring. There's orchids and all sorts. I was just talking to a chap. That's one of the paths up to the top. There's ancient barrows and all sorts up here. Getting the stuff sorted out. I'm doing VHF 2 meters. I'll talk about more of that in a second. That is the view to the south. And let me show you something else. Show you something here. We're at roughly, you can see that, about 1,000 foot above sea level almost, with that amazing view to the south. To the north, I'm told, which you can probably gather, isn't too brilliant, because to the north we've got Axe Edge Moor, which is higher, which gets in the way. And I'll show you some of the facilities in this place here. You can see it's got a barbecue in it, with a lot of responsibility with there, isn't there really? But a barbecue in there with handy water, and this type of area that no doubt people can have a sit in here and whatever, have your saunas out of the rain, and another route that way up around here. So yeah, beautiful. The drive here is absolutely stunning. Yeah, so if you wonder where we are, we're in Staffordshire, probably classed as East Staffordshire, North Staffordshire, not far from Alton Towers, and yeah, just on the edge of the Peak District. I don't think it's official Peak District here. I was looking at my Ethel's app. If you've never seen Ethel's app, check in Ethel's app. Lots of great walks around trig points and places like that, named after a famous walker, the Staffordshire, Derbyshire version of a Wainwright, an Ethel. And this doesn't fall in here, which I would have said it is, but it isn't. And this site is run by the Staffordshire Wildlife Trust. CQ2, CQ2, CQ2. This is Golf 0 Oscar Echo Sierra Portable, G0 OES Portable, North Staffordshire, calling CQ2 and standing by for any calls. Right, I've done it. I've activated this park on 2 meters on FM. And I tell you what, flipping heck. That was hard work, right? That was well worth it, because it was hard work. And I'd like to thank all those people who answered my calls. I've had some good... So this is an extract of my log. So 5.41 QSOs an hour. I activated for 1 hour and 50 minutes. It felt a lot longer. 10 QSOs, which is just enough, as you know, for a POTA. 1 band, 2 meters. 1 mode, FM. I did check FT8 and there was no Dom there. Good natters with people as well. And God, I've had some really strange ones as well. So I was calling, and I think I just said out to Habit QRZ. And I had this guy kept calling his mate, you know, like, G, da, 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 G, da, 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 are you there, like, Albert? And so I said, any chance you could just give me a quick QSO so I get you in the log? I don't do contests. I don't do contests. He was trying to went into a rant on the 500. Some strange people. I just thought they were on 80 metres. But anyway, yes. And by the way, Nathan, M0NXD. Sorry if I've got that call sign wrong, Nathan. I'll put it in here. He's the chap who's got Amateur Radio Exchange, who's the new flea market, which is fantastic. Great bloke. He's just composed a marvellous song about 80 metres. And if I can get hold of it, I will try and put it at the end of this video. If it isn't there, it'll be in a future video. But anyway, I just talked to somebody about this Thorswood. And there are the ancient barrows up there. I'm unfortunately got to get home. I spent so long here. I was going to try and go up there and show you all the other stuff. And we'll come here again and do an HF activation when the bands are better on HF. And tell you all about that sort of stuff that's up there, which are ancient barrows and apparently mining shafts. You have to be careful where you go. So you get even more height up there. But this would be a lovely takeoff as well on HF. And there's some good spots here I want to show you. There's a good post if you come here. You could strap a pole to and get a long wire up. And you've also got this here as well. There's a good bit of post in here that you could get your long wire up on. And got a good bush and even bigger tree there. That's a fair sized tree. There's a little car park, little view around. As I showed you earlier, there's the route up there. I reckon it's just a quick circular route for dog walkers. When I say quick, they seem to be gone about an hour. And there's cattle up there. The dog walker was having the cow problem. So anyway, more when I get back. I'll give you a bit of a rundown on everything else I've learnt from this lovely day out. So I've got back, as you can tell, synchronicity issues and all that sort of stuff. I reckon there's a huge opportunity for POTA on 2 metres, if only people would switch on the radios. If we take the fact there are 100,000 registered amateur radios, that's according to Ofcom, amateur radio licensees, taken out of that special call signs and all that sort of stuff, 100,000. RSGB reckon probably 75,000 are operating. Now, if we take half of that, let's say, have got 2 metre rigs that are likely to be switched on, transceivers, sorry, that means we've got 37,500. Now, on the basis, if you get 75,000 divided by the landmass, we're all about 0.9 of a kilometre away from each other, roughly about a quarter of a mile. So, we're very, very close to other amateurs. Even if you double that figure, for example, let's say we're all within a mile of each other because half of us haven't got a radio switched on. If we call secure on POTA, even if we're somewhere rural, I know there will be massing in the cities, but let's face it, I had a 5-element beam facing south with a pretty clear view. We should be bombarded. It shouldn't be that difficult. But what did I do on there? I really did make it difficult for myself. It wasn't great bands. It wasn't a great day to go out. It was a beautiful location. I used a loft find 5-element Yagi. You've probably seen me use before. Tunes 1-to-1 as to be well. Why not? Whoops. And also, I just put out 10 watts. ERP roughly on a good day with a fair wind, 50 watts. So I can say 550 watts. But that's about it, right? That's all I've done. And I was able to activate it with a bit of patience. Took me about 2 hours. But what do you think? Should we do more on 2 metres? I think what we should do is call CQ more often. And I think we should start a challenge, which is the CQ challenge. Are people brave enough to call CQ anymore? Question for you. Comments down below. I'd really like to hear your views. Thanks ever so much for taking the time to watching this. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and not doing radio. Right, 73s.
Like broken glass, crackling ghosts, voices from the past.